Hey guys, hope you're having an amazing day. I trust you're having a good weekend as well. It's a Sunday afternoon over here, and we're going to take a look at the market as usual. Focus on gold, US oil, and Bitcoin. If it's the first time you're just joining us, find it very helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to learn how to trade like professional forex trader, or you like what we do here at NFX Up, then I highly recommend you subscribe to our membership plan at nfxup.com. NFXup.com as well. Link is going to be in the description below. And lastly, join our Discord community because that's where we give real-time market updates and all educational content and helpful signals that will be definitely going to help you on your trading journey. All right, guys. So that being said, let's get on chat. Here on our chat, we have the chat of gold, XAU-USD, and first, this is a continuation chart from last analysis, and we can see that right now market is already open, is already moving, and market's going at 368, which is a good price because we took a trade on this, and our entry was about 330 thereabout. That was the breakout entry which we had here, and market is working in the textbook pattern, which is very good. I'm not going to go too deep into fundamentals because there's not really much over to talk about. Of course, there's the tariff war, which is currently being a big deal between the US and the EU and also Mexico. So Trump is a bit, wild on that tariff, and that, of course, is going to push the markets. And the more tariff threats, the more gold keeps going higher. It's just simple math. So that being said, we saw gold tested this lower bound of support at 32.80. I updated this chart. Mind you, I'm using the 8-hour time frame, but it's no big deal with 7-hour time frame. I just need that to make our candles a bit more concise. So we saw multiple tests on our trend line, which we used in picking up this from February up to now. And following the last test, we had this consolidation, which is a major consolidation, lasted for about a couple of weeks. Yeah, from the beginning of June, that's like 2 weeks exactly, and we currently seeing this full market, a bullish movement, and I believe it's going to last for a while. And because the next possible resistance we could likely see would be this resistance level, and that is around 3400. So that's the major resistance I'm going to be seeing right now. Price below that, there's nothing going to stop us. Now, this resistance also coincides with the Fibonacci retracement level at 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level. So if they coincide together, then most likely somewhat around here, I believe this should happen like this week, maybe. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow, maybe next. No one knows, but it's gonna happen this week. So when that happens, then most likely we could see so it looks like a price, correction. This would be the case. We could have a fallback down here, the current market level right now, and then before we head forward for a higher breakout. And I'm expecting that before the end of July, we should see higher all-time highs for a new all-time high for gold. I'm looking towards an all-time high that will be somewhat around 3590, yeah, on up to 3800. That will be later this year, but for now I'm looking towards 3990. That's the most closest all-time I am targeting right now. So but for the meantime, market is still hovering, between these two support zones. And if when or let's say when we test this next major highs at 3400, most likely 3410 around that range, we most likely could see gold push a bit higher for 3450. That's a more realistic good kind of movement. If we track the good movement, we can see some things that they usually do whenever we test a major lower band of the support zone. You can see that as well. Here, here, and also here. There's always this push, really high push down there. So this is like about 7.61% growth. That's a lot, right? So we're going to take it way back down, and let's see what happened here. We had that about so we had about 6% growth, which extended as well up to like 8% growth because of the short-term retracement. So we get that range of between 6 to 9 as our band or target range. And now we're seeing gold. Let's even take the last one we had here. So what we had here, we had about 7.7% growth, right? So I'm expecting us to see similar thing happen again here. So if we get the similar moves, we could see probably a minimum of 6, and that already takes us about 3480 or something around 3500, right? So if that happens, we could see that happen right now, maybe within a week or 2 weeks time. Very possible, but it's going to be in July. And the best case scenario could be a push around 7.7%. That would take us around about 3540. So that's also a very good target level. Either way is good. So I'm expecting any of those things to happen before we see any other major pullback or corrections once more again. But as well, is the market. You can never be too certain. So always trade safe, proper risk management, and always protect your capital. It's very, very important. All right, guys, that's been said for gold. Yeah, by the way, we have this trade currently running in our Discord community, and I'm going to follow up with this trade. If you're there, I'll send some update later this week. So that's been said for gold. We're going to go forward and take a look at US oil. So, following our last week analysis on USOil, so I'm just going to try to zoom into be more practical on the most recent market activities that's been happening now. Chart is very rough, which is the reason why I've not sent any trade on USOil, and I'm not taking any trade on USOil. The last trade I took on USOil was the sell following the escalation of the war between Iran and Israel. Right now, there's been no trade on US oil, and that is intentional because the market is not giving me a clear direction of what it wants to do. So we see these multiple oscillations, zooming the 4 hours so we can see it better. We can see these multiple oscillations, which tells us that the US oil is currently in a ranging chart. Now, forget about this, not fully formed. We can see these multiple support here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can see multiple resistance, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that and this is the beginning of the range. So we can see this clearly tells us that price is ranging between these two levels. So if you're a scalper, then you can be on the hourly time frame and just scalp between these two bands of the range. But I'm not a scalper and I don't do that. So I'm waiting to see if the price is going to break below here, which of course I'd say 70% sure it's going to break below here because the global demand for crude is not really high. There's nothing really fueling it. Right now we're just in a state of uncertainty. This is a long-term support zone, which is the reason why price is still hanging around this level. But soon as we get a clear break below here, the price start coming back down. The only reason that will make us have a break above is if there is further threat on the wall, which I don't see happening anytime soon. So for now, I'm just waiting for us to get a clear exit below this range charts, and then we can now start looking at more sell positions and more long positions for the US oil. Till then, fingers crossed, no trade open, just observing the market and watching its plates, plates dynamics. Lastly, we're going to take a look at BTC-USD, Bitcoin, the king of the market. Right now, Bitcoin is the hot is the hot currency pair, or say the hot commodity of the market. And reasons is clearly known, right? Everyone saw what happened last week. We saw the clear and final break from previous all-time highs at 109k, or let's just say 110k. Let's actually 109k because it didn't really get up to 110k, and that coincided with our our short-term consolidation, which lasted for quite a while from the month of May up to June end. So we saw that break happen in July, and the good thing about this chart is that this coincides with historical Bitcoin movements. I'm going to show you that shortly, but before we get down there, let's just talk about the current market situation. Right, so after we saw that major breakout from this support level, we saw price hit a new all-time high of Bitcoin, which is about 118k, and I believe we're going to see 119k by tomorrow. Oh wow, we just had 119k and that's a great one. So what is the new all-time high being stabilized? I'm expecting to see higher prices, which I'm looking towards the range of picking it up in chat. This is the range I'm looking at, somewhat around 125k this week, if possible. This would give us clear indication that the bull is back on. But when we hit this level of 125k, there's a high possibility for us to see price rejection towards 100 or 110k or 115k once more again. That is not certain. That depends on how the market reacts. But as usual, whenever we hit new all-time high, there's always a possibility for a drop back or a pullback correction, which is very healthy. Now, the most important thing and the great thing that I want us to put attention to is the fact that we broke out from the long, depressing, stagnated price level of 110k. 110k felt like a psychological barrier, like a institutional barrier, like whatever, like a block, whatever. We broke that, and that's a strong psychological standpoint, which motivates both investors, retail, institutional, and corporate, telling us that the bull run is not yet over, and that's the best thing that we've seen so far this month of July. And you know, as every month of July, there's always this in the 4 year Bitcoin cycle. There's always this pump that's brings back that enthusiasm, that FOMO, and propels the entire crypto market. So I believe that's going to be the case again this year. So, but for the nearest, if you're actually taking a swing trade on this, your nearest all-time high or your nearest target should be 125k. That's the next target of Bitcoin. And after 125k, we're looking towards 175k, and then we're looking towards a euphoric all-time high of probably 290k or around that range. Now that's it for Bitcoin. For the charts, look front, and this is mainly for the Fibonacci retracement calls. So these are a longer view, just to show you guys what the possibilities are. We're almost approaching the end of the rally, so this period is when we have to be very careful and also be very, very cautious of our finances. So now we have this here. We're likely gonna be seeing. Forget about this stuff here. It's already priced in, and not much going to change anymore again. So we're going to see more bullish movement, and I believe we're going to see an all-time high towards the higher bands of the retracement level, which would be around 280k plus thereabout. That would send the entire market into massive euphoria. So now I'm going to show you guys my long-term Bitcoin chart once again to show you guys where we are in the current market and where we could end up. Just give me a second. Yeah, so now if you look at our charts, you can see July 2017, because the current market cycle looks so much like 2017 market cycle, and that's why I'm using this charts for comparison's sake. So if you see what we have over here, this was the July, and this was the breakouts, and this is when we started seeing major bullish movement on Bitcoin. So the next couple of months from July down to we had the peak all-time high that was in December. It was massive. It was massive. It was clearly bullish weekly candles till we hit the peak in December. So I'm expecting us to see something very similar to what we had here in 2017, 2018 rally. I'm going to see something very similar again in our current market charts. This is already the July again, so I'm expecting to see that consistent market push till about December or January 2026, most likely December. So these next couple of months, fingers crossed, hedge high, and stay very, very optimistic, because the market is going to get really, really crazy and really, really wild. All right, guys, that's going to be all for this week market analysis. As always, if you like what we do here, please leave a comment below, like, share, and subscribe to Manager Plan, and stay active on our Discord community for more updates. Cheers, guys, and wish you all a profitable and successful trading week ahead.